Hello, awesome artists. Today we're going to start off with a sheet of paper. I want you to make sure that the longest side is on the top and on the bottom. That means it's landscape. So the first thing we're going to do is fold it in half. So very carefully pick up your paper, make sure that the corners touch, and once you've got it in place, give it a nice crease. Good job. Next, we're going to fold it twice. The bottom two corners get folded up to the top. As you are rolling your paper up and folding it, again, I'd like to make sure that you have a nice crease. These are important because when you open your paper back up, you want that plus sign on the crease. And that means you're going to have 4 different sections. All right, next get out a ruler, and I'm going to be using a Sharpie marker. You should be using a pencil. I'm using the Sharpie so it shows up more easily on the camera. First things first, we're going to put the top of the ruler on the middle crease and trace a horizontal line right across the paper. And this gives us a horizon line. Everything up top is the sky, everything below is the ground. Next, we need to plot our vanishing point. We'll discuss what this is in just a second. Just give me a dot right in the center of your paper. Now with your ruler, we want to make sure that all lines that we draw reach the vanishing point. I'm going to use this red colored pencil. You are still using a pencil. And I'm using this red colored pencil to show you this triangle. It needs to be equally spaced on either side of the center vertical line. So this is going to be our road. Next, I'm going to use this light blue colored pencil to do the sidewalks. So make sure your ruler touches the vanishing point and give yourself a sidewalk on either side of your road. So now we've drawn 2 separate triangles, one in red and one in light blue. Nicely done. Make sure to hold that ruler nice and steady. The last triangle that we need to draw, I'm going to do in a green, and this is going to be the striped dash line that's in the middle of the road. Make sure that it's on either side of the crease again. Keep it nice and thin, and try your best to make it even, nice and symmetrical. Again, I'm going to put the top side of my ruler on the middle fold, and I'm going to make the first 2 small lines on my sidewalk on the bottom side of my ruler. We're going to start separating the sidewalk area. I want to kind of measure with my eyes halfway between the lines I just drew and the vanishing point, and I think halfway is right about here. So I'm going to draw 2 more short horizontal lines, and we're kind of just chopping up this sidewalk, making it something that's split into the tiles, just like we see on real sidewalks. So I'm going to keep doing halves. The top 2 lines, I'm going to figure out what's halfway between those lines and the vanishing point. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my ruler so that the top side of my ruler rests up against the bottom 2 lines. And then on the bottom side of the ruler, I'm going to create 2 additional horizontal lines, really kind of chopping this sidewalk up. Next, I want to kind of fill in these spaces. They're a little bit too wide. So I'm going to find a midpoint, just kind of eyeball it, and make 2 more small horizontal lines. This creates an illusion of depth that the road and the sidewalk go off into the distance. So far, so good. I'm liking it. Now, in order to make that dashed yellow line that's in the middle of my road, I'm just going to kind of pair my ruler up right up against all of these areas on the sidewalk. So you'll notice that the ruler matches perfectly with the 2 lines I just draw on the sidewalk. So on a horizontal plane, I'm just kind of skipping a space in the red triangle, and I'm just kind of continuing that horizontal line inside the green triangle. And I'm going to do that for every single line that I've already made for my sidewalk. This is going to help me evenly kind of split up the dashed line. I've got one more right here, and a little line right in between. Great. Now, because these are dashed lines, we do need to make little spaces in between these receding rectangles. So just beneath those lines that I just drew inside the green, I'm going to make some smaller lines. As you go up closer toward the vanishing point, make the lines and the spaces in between the receding yellow rectangles shorter and shorter. As an artist, I like to help myself better see what it is that I'm drawing. There's an awful lot of lines, so I took this thin Crayola marker, this yellow marker, and now I'm coloring in the lines. Feel free to use crayon or colored pencil if that's what you have. I find that a marker works best in this situation, and you can see that I am not coloring in between those spaces. I'm just going to color in these dashed lines off into the distance, helping to further the illusion of depth. Okay, the next thing we want to do is draw the mountains. So I'm going to start on the upper right grid, and I'm going to make kind of a zigzag, craggly line. It's a very organic line that goes up and to the right. I'm going to do the same thing in the first grid, and I'm going to go up and to the left. These two mountains will be coloring in next rotation. Now I want a center mountain, one that starts on the left mountain and ends on the right mountain. Now no line is incorrect. You can make your mountains as peaked or as flat as you want. And then we're going to make two very tall mountains that are way off in the distance, one on each side, just like this. Now that we've got our mountains, we can go ahead and begin drawing our sun. So the sun is all the way in the back. It's in the furthest back. It's just a curved line right in the center of your paper and above your horizon line. Great job. Okay, now I have this pink colored pencil. I'm going to take out my ruler, let it rest on the vanishing point, and draw a diagonal line that goes up and to the left to the side of the paper. This you will be erasing later, but this is what we're going to use to keep those electric poles in perspective. These are really easy to make. You're just going to take your pencil and just kind of like we did with the dashed yellow line in the middle of the road, we're going to use the lines on the side of our sidewalk. We're going to draw a vertical line up to that pink diagonal line, keeping it all in perspective. Now as you go to the left, you're going to want to make these electric poles a little thicker as they go to the left. This will help you with your perception of depth. Then we're going to put the crossbar where usually the electrical boxes hang from, and they need to be shorter and thinner the closer you get to the vanishing point. Nice, so everything's in perspective going to the vanishing point. It looks great. Now the last thing I'd like you to do today is take out a black colored pencil or a black crayon, and I want you to very carefully color in your road. Make sure to get those spots in between the dashed yellow rectangles. As you color it in, this will help you to see a little bit better where everything is. Once you're done, that's pretty much all the time we have for today. Great job. Don't forget to take a picture, upload it to Schoology, and I will see you next time.